Hello, in today's video I'm sharing some current makeup favorites I've been reaching for a lot. I have a new glowy foundation that I think works really well across all skin types, a new lipstick that I am in love with. I created this rose gold, kind of naturally glowy, easy everyday makeup look using some new favorites and old loves. All products will be linked down below along with what I'm wearing. Everything is available from Nordstrom. I shop at Nordstrom online all the time. This video is in partnership with Nordstrom, and I say that I shop with them online because our closest Nordstrom is about 5.5 hours away. They're just so easy to shop with. They have free shipping, free returns, and they're a great one-stop shop for not just beauty, because they do carry some brands that other retailers don't carry, but also fashion and lifestyle and home from mid-range to luxury prices. I love partnering with them. I'm excited to share some current favorites with you, and I'm excited to share a few new techniques that I've been doing too. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new, and let's go ahead and get into this full face of current favorites. The sunscreen I applied today after my skincare is the Supergoop Matte Screen Mineral Sunscreen. This works really great on my surface dehydration. It doesn't pick that up, but it also controls my shine really well. It's also waterproof and sweat resistant, which is really important where I live here in New Orleans. It's hot and humid the majority of the year, but especially this time of year. So this just keeps everything looking really great on top of it. So I have given this some time to sink in before starting with my makeup, which is super important. Now this is what I'm using as my primer today, just because, you know, it works well to control my shine, and I feel like my pores are looking pretty decent today, and you know, things are okay. If I was having a little bit more of a rough skin day, or I guess just a normal skin day, I would be pulling out my Hourglass Veil. This is not so much a current favorite, but it's a staple favorite for me. I think this is like my 4th large size tube of this. It's just a silky lotion. It sinks right into the skin. You should only apply a pea-size amount, and this will do the job for your whole face. It's also sweat resistant, so it keeps my makeup looking really nice in hot, humid conditions. It controls my shine nicely. It doesn't pick up on dry areas, and it smooths my pores and just kind of evens out the skin tone. And there are a few different sizes of this as well. This is a newer foundation for me, and I've been reaching for it quite a bit. This is the Givenchy Prism Libre foundation. A lot of you have been asking me about this. I'm in the shade 3W245, and I think it's a great match. It's light coverage. It applies really easily with a sponge or a brush. I'm going to be giving my full thoughts on this in a foundation roundup coming soon, so stay tuned for that. I wanted you guys just to see how pretty this looks and just let you know how much I've actually really been enjoying it. And I say actually because I used to not be into radiant glowy foundations, and I've kind of done a 180. I think they're just really pretty, and so many of the formulas like this one are long wearing and last throughout the day even when it's hot. But I mean, you can see how well it just evened out the redness lightly and just kind of gave a skin-like, more perfected look, yet didn't hide my natural skin at all, which I really enjoy this time of year. It just gives a really pretty, naturally glowy, radiant look, but it doesn't make me too shiny during the day. And I just think it looks really pretty, especially when the makeup is all done. And I will have more on this foundation in an upcoming foundation roundup. So if you're not subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos or upcoming foundation reviews. Even though it's beautiful, not everybody wants to go luxury. The Urban Decay Hydromaniac is a great option too. This is another glowy, radiant foundation that is great for dry skin, oily skin, combination skin, just like the Givenchy. They're both really nice. I'm going in with eyeshadow primer on my lids just to lock in my eyeshadow, and I'm going to show you a little trick that I do with cream shadow here in a minute. It really works beautifully to lock in shadow and help it not crease during the day. I'm going to show you something new that I've never shown on my channel before, something that I'm doing with my under eye concealer. I'm going to start with the Dior Forever Skin Correct. I've changed my shade a little bit. I was in 2N, and I just decided to try out 2CR to see if it was a decent match for me, and I kind of like it better for underneath the eye. Now I'm just dotting this where I normally dot concealer, just like I always do. I like that this has a little bit more of a pink tone. I find the Dior shades to be very yellow toned, and I like a peachy salmon skin tone underneath my eyes. Now, I have shown this before, but something I've been doing with the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter is dabbing a little bit of that underneath my eyes also, just to give a very flattering look to those of you who have under eye dryness with texture like I do. And I extend it out towards the hairline just so I can do a little bit of highlighting too. So I'm going to blend these two out together. Very, very easy. I love this Dior concealer because it works really great if you're having, you know, days where you want to wear a skin tint or a light coverage foundation like today, or even if you're having no makeup days, but you just want a little bit of concealer. It covers well, but it looks like skin. This is what I haven't shown before. I have the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Concealer in the shade 1C, which is probably for people that are a lot more fair and pink toned than I am, but I've been taking it right in the darkest hollows of my eyes, right in the outer corner. You can take it in the inner corner too, but I'm going to end up with eyeshadow there anyway, so I'm not really worrying about it. You can use your sponge or a finger, but I just really am liking this brighter shade right there to just help out with those hollows, those shadows. I don't know how much that's reflecting on camera or if it even looks good on camera, but it looks good in person, and I feel like it helps me look less tired. The only thing that really fixes that is filler, and if you can just counterbalance that with some lightness like this is doing without adding extra shimmer, I've just really been liking that. I'm going to do my brows with the new Charlotte Tilbury Brow Cheat in Natural Brown. I also got the shade Taupe. It was a little bit too light, so I'm just sticking with this one for now, but I have been loving it. The texture just glides on so effortlessly. I don't have to press very hard to get pigment, and it looks really natural too. Once it's all combed out, I just really like the result. I've gone back to applying my brows the way I used to, which is before I apply powder, because I figure our brows are naturally on our face before we put powder on. They look kind of dark before my face powder is on, but once it's on, I feel like everything just kind of evens out. The brows are looking super dark. I definitely need to go a shade lighter. I'm hoping that they will even out with powder. I'm just not a person that has perfect brows. That's just not me. But I do like that brow pencil a lot. So I am absolutely loving this new NARS Sun-Kissed Bronzing Cream. I have the shade Laguna. It's just a really nice, natural, neutral shade. You can almost contour with it too. The shade in particular is great for light medium skin tones like myself. I would say all the way to fair, and there is a deeper shade as well. You can apply this with a brush or a sponge. Today I'm using a sponge just because that's what I have in my hand already, and I'm lazy. A little bit goes a long way. You don't need to tap your brush or your sponge into the container very hard at all. It blends out super easily. It doesn't disturb the makeup underneath, and it dries to a nice finish so it's not sitting tacky on your skin. You can always go heavier or light-handed than I have, whatever your preference. I'm just kind of going for a very subtle, kind of glowy look. It's no wonder that this stuff has been selling out like crazy, and I'll link the NARS powder bronzer too, but I have another option in this video as well that is part of a little palette, and that is the blush that I'm going to be using, but you could always use this bronzer and kind of knock two birds out with one stone. I'm going to set my face with powder first. I'm going to be using the new Gucci powder. I am loving this so much. I have the shade 01, which is kind of translucent on me, and that was my intent in getting a shade that light. This is a very natural finish powder. I'm just going to take the flat side of my sponge and set my under eye area. I'm going to set my face with a Lancome kind of mattifying powder just because I have an oily T-zone. But if you have dry skin or you have normal skin, you could set your entire face, under eye area, and everything. It would be so, so pretty. And even if you have combination or oily skin, I think you could set your face with this very nicely in maybe normal climates, but with my humidity, I need something that is going to fight that shine. You see how invisible that is and how much more perfected my under eye area looks? It's so invisible. I want to make sure I don't have too much powder, so I'm just dusting away some excess just in case. You know what? I'm kind of thinking I might set my face with this anyway because I'm not going outside today, and it is so pretty when you set your face with it. I'll do that, and I'll just show you guys the Lancome powder that I was going to use because I've used the Lancome powder so many times in my videos, and I really, really want to use this in a video. So yeah, let's just go all in. I am going to use my sponge. That is how I set my face. Do you see how just naturally pretty that is? It almost makes the pores look smaller. Now, I know I'm going to get asked about this sponge. It is the driest damp you can possibly get. I needed to wash it this morning, so I squeezed it out in a towel and I took my blow dryer to it a little bit, so it's barely, barely damp. I didn't want it too damp because it would lessen the coverage of the foundation, which was already light coverage. I just realized I didn't put the clips back in my hair, and that's probably driving some of you nuts. I had to answer my door mid-filming, which was obviously edited out, and I just forgot to put it back up, and it was kind of driving me crazy, so I know it was driving some of you crazy. Now, obviously, if you wanted to conceal your imperfections, you would have done that. I just didn't bother. And of course, you can apply this with a brush if you want to. You can also apply it with the enclosed poof, just whatever. I mean, I'm kind of piling it on right now. I normally wouldn't do that, but I'm just kind of demonstrating it. Because this is so invisible and flattering, and it does touch up shine during the day after I blot the shine away, of course. I also carry this in my purse as a great blotting powder. This is a great multi-purpose powder that looks beautiful too, just like their bronzer. I mean, they've just done a great job with both the bronzer as well as the powder. This is the Lancome powder I would have used. It's the Long Time No Shine. It is really, really good if you have oily combination skin. It also works pretty well on dry skin too. It doesn't really catch on my dry, flaky areas that I have sometimes. Really finely milled. So if you're looking for a good, oil controlling powder, this is one of my favorites. This is the newer Stila Putty Blush and Bronzer Duo. I just thought these were so cute, so compact, and I love a multitasking product. And do you see how it's buildable? Like, you don't get too much at once either. This is just a really, really pretty, beautiful, natural, warm shade. I mean, I think there would be zero user error with this blush. There's no fallout or anything when you dip your brush into it. For the eyes, I'm taking a longtime favorite, the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize in the shade Rose Gold, and I'm just going to apply this to the lid with my finger. Primer didn't even crease. I didn't set it with powder yet. I say yet because I'm going to show you something here in a second. I like to apply my cream shadows over my primer directly before I set them. They just apply more smoothly and they don't catch on the powder, but it keeps them crease resistant longer. So I'm just kind of smudging that out. I'm not even taking a brush to it. I love the whip texture of these Charlotte Tilbury pot shadows. I love how easily they blend out and how they set down. I have several shades and I love them all. So now I'm going to take an eyeshadow brush and I'm going to set above where I placed that cream eyeshadow. This is so the eyeshadow that I place above it won't crease, and because I'm taking this into the crease where that cream eyeshadow is, it means the cream eyeshadow will stay crease free longer, even though I don't put anything directly over or under the cream shadow. So I just kind of did that really messy just to make sure there was a layer of powder there. I could leave this as it is, but I feel like, there's nothing going on up here on my hood above my crease. So I'm going to accent it with this Sigma Spicy palette. This is such a great neutral palette. They have several of these. I want to say 9 new palettes. I just love these so much. I'm first placing the shade Tryst in my crease and above as a transition. Super quick and easy, and I'm going to take the same shade underneath the lash line. Now I'm taking the shade Biscotti and I'm highlighting my brow bone as well as my inner corner. And you can just leave this. I've been doing that a lot lately, curling my lashes and just calling it a day, but I am going to enhance them with a little bit of the shade Mocha from this Sigma palette. So I'm just pretending like my lower lash line would keep extending into infinity. I placed the tip of my pencil brush right there and just did a little bit of a flick, and now I'm just smudging that shadow along the outer third and kind of meeting that flick, if that makes sense. It just adds a tiny bit of a lift and a little bit more of a finished look, and yet it's still, not much trouble whatsoever. It just creates a subtle little lift to the eye that you wouldn't have had you not done that. It's an optional step. I just like to do it to give my eyes a little bit of lift that I need as I get a little bit older. Now I'm curling my lashes and I'm going to apply a mascara that I've been loving for several months now. I probably need to get another tube because this one is starting to get old. This is the Lash Idol mascara from Lancome. I love it for daily use. It's not over the top with volume, but it gives enough volume to where, you can see that you have lashes if you have very sparse lashes like I do. It holds my curl nicely and it just feels good and leaves my lashes feeling soft. I made one small eyeshadow adjustment. I tapped the shade Moonshine here onto my lids. It just complements the Charlotte Tilbury Rose Gold so well and adds a little bit of extra dimension. Totally optional. I just have been really enjoying these palettes, like I said, and I wanted to use a complementary shade and just get a little bit of something extra. Now, I love this lip shade so much, and I didn't want it to be altered too much by a lip liner underneath, but I do like to even out my lips and just give them a little bit of extra definition, and I like to overline just a tad. So I did that with Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, which is a nice neutral warm pink. I lined very lightly, almost where you can't see it. This is probably my favorite new product as of late, and this will be in my monthly favorites. Spoiler alert, this is the Chanel Rouge Coco Bloom in the shade Dream. So I know there are a lot of these, you know, lipstick balm nourishing type of products that are out right now. This color is so beautiful, so perfect for spring and summer, actually any time of year. But this formula, not only is it nourishing and it just feels good and creamy and it's opaque, but it actually lasts a long time for this type of product too. I was actually kind of surprised the other day. I ate and drank and did some things and I still had some product on my lips. I think these are limited edition. I hope they do keep them around because this formula is fantastic. And now I'm wondering about other shades. Because I mentioned this foundation going in my next foundation roundup video, I will have my foundation roundup playlist here in case you want to see some of the latest foundations that I've reviewed. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of these products in action. Let me know other videos you'd like to see down below. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and become part of the family. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!